Today, we have a very special guest, a man who is very comfortable coming into the Lion's Den, and I have to appreciate that. The man does not need
Oh, no way.
Thanks for coming on, John Crestani.
Hey, happy to be here. Actually, I follow your channel, and
Sweet.
I think it's interesting.
Cool. Well, I have a fun little trivia question to get from the start.
Sure.
So in your first video, I believe it was run as an ad. It was titled Invitation to Learn How to Create an Automated Online Business. I think it's your most popular video as well.
Okay.
So it's 3 minutes and 15 seconds, 195 seconds. So if you're watching this, all the audience, I want you to think about, I'll give away the answer at the end, but how many seconds of this video included an exotic sports car in it? Just a guess.
I would guess I would guess somewhere around 65. I'm doing that based on basically 1/3 testimonials, 1/3 call to action, 1/3 pitch. So I'm assuming the one.
That's a really good guess. Actually, yeah. Later in this, I want to ask you about advertising because I actually do want to kind of pick your brain a little bit.
Oh, sure.
I think you are pretty good at it. But first question to get off to an interesting start, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're a big charlatan and 10 being the most authentic person online, where would you rate yourself?
With 10 being the most authentic person online?
Yep.
10.
All right.
10 for sure. Yeah.
I think my audience would disagree, but
yeah, I'm sure your audience would disagree. I totally get that, but yeah. There's not any question in my mind.
But that's good. Today's video, we're going to be discussing a lot of online marketing tactics. And because I can be critical of people, I'm going to give John a chance to kind of defend himself here. And so let's get right into it. Right now, you have repeatedly mentioned that they're in the make money online industry, that it needs more transparency, which I completely agree with. So I was wanting to give you a second to kind of expand on what you mean by transparency.
Sure. So what I mean by transparency is I think the entire education industry needs more transparency.
Is that including college, by the way?
What?
Is that including college, or are you saying education?
Oh, that include yeah, college. Not okay. I'm not talking about high school. I'm not talking about elementary school. I'm talking about things where you're going off and creating a career or an income or whatever for yourself. I believe it needs more transparency because right now, I think people are very fatigued with the amount of teachers there are out there that, basically are all pitching the same stuff, affiliate, drop shipping, Amazon consulting, social media marketing, network marketing, real estate, stock trading, day trading, all that stuff. And it's very hard to find a definitive way to say, okay, this guy is, people want, who's the best day trader? Who's the best person to learn from? How do you even, and also even the criteria for how do you measure who's the best, right? In an ideal world, and this is one of the things I believe people should work towards is, can you measure the results of the student, right? How can you measure, has Dan Locke created more successful students on average than a Chris Record or a Tim Sykes or Tika Tawari. So being that would be the ideal world where you can say, okay, well, 80% of the students are, they made some money. And right now you can't really do that other than self-reported surveys. That's what colleges do, is they'll send out 10,000 letters to all the students, and then some people will respond, and
you still have confirmation bias too with that as well, which makes it challenging.
There's confirmation. The confirmation bias is huge because if somebody's not making any money, they're not going to, they're often going to feel embarrassed. The criteria to measure teachers is kind of all over the place. Right now, I believe it's just kind of who sounds the best, what does my gut say? And I believe people are fatigued with that, and they want a more quantitative way to measure teachers, not qualitative.
Yep. So from what I'm hearing from you, so from transparency, my view of transparency is you don't necessarily have to share every single income number or anything, but I think I'm getting the vibe from you that you're meaning, hey, let's share some more numbers,
Yeah.
right? Share maybe success percentage of. Now, do you think that's on you as a course creator to spend the time to find all the percentages? And also, what are the metrics? Who defines success, right? I think that's why this is a tough kind of
Do you have the
result.
answers?
I wish I did, right? It would be nice to have kind of some type of metric, but I know it's challenging.
I have some ideas. So first off, is I think an important thing, and this is sort of a binary, is the person who's pitching the course actually teaching the course?
By the way, that's always my first step for my Authentic or Charlatan series.
Yeah. Is the person teaching the course actually, and because there are, Ty Lopez is a good example. Unfortunately, I really like the guy. Alex Becker's a, great guy, very smart guy, but, there are other people who pitch courses and not teach them. The probably even before that would be, has this person had success in that industry? I'd say that's actually even before the person, because you don't want somebody teaching a course that has no idea, they're pitching it and teaching it, but they have no idea what they're doing. And they've never done it before. So I'd say, has the person had success? Did Dean Graziosi have success wholesaling or flipping or whatever he was doing? And if he did, then it would be, is he actually teaching the course, or does he hire trainers? Because a lot gets diluted. You want to hear it from the mouth of the horse.
100%. And I do hope that myself, Coffeezilla, Tom Nash, there's a few others that are kind of getting into the space, and you don't want to get into too anti-guru, but it would be nice if we can kind of position ourselves as a way. I really liked your comment, by the way, you left on my video where you said there's a need for kind of a Joe Rogan. We're kind of a gatekeeper. Yes. Where you can go on and give the people a chance to speak, and then kind of let the market dictate what they think, which I would like to serve as that. And that's why I appreciate you coming here. Is I actually really appreciate, even if people don't like you, I think they at least have to respect the fact that you're willing. I mean, I'm about to criticize you in a couple questions, sure. and you're going to sit here and take it. So we'll get right into it. There's a word scammer that's used with your name a lot. When you look online, John Crestani scam is now, of course, I understand the game. There's a lot of affiliate marketers who exploit that to sell your product, but
John Crestani, scammer legit.
One, does that word bother you at all? And two, why do you think that your name is associated with the word scam a lot?
Sure. So yes, it bothers me for sure. I mean, I think it would bother anyone. And then the question was, why was the second part?
Why do you think that is? If one person says it, it's probably not true, but some people would argue that if you see it all over the internet, some people would believe that to be true. So why do you think people even come up with that thought?
Sure. I mean, it all goes back to the marketing, right? The people calling me a scam, I've contacted, when people put up blog posts about me, I'll contact them and I'll say, I give out review copies of my course to people who are big affiliates or who have a lot of traffic, and bloggers who rank for big terms like my name they have a lot of traffic. So I'll say, hey, I see you're calling me a scam, but I don't see any record of you being through my course. Here it is. And in quite a number of cases, people will change up their stuff and say, actually, the content John provides is pretty good. And like, there's handouts, there's certificate, like everything makes sense. It's pretty advanced. He goes, he makes it simple, and then he goes deep. But, unfortunately I believe at the end of the day in this industry, the hardest thing for people to deal with is it's skepticism, right? It's the enemy in the weight loss niche. It's like overpriced fitness trainers, or it's like the big pharmaceutical companies want you on drugs. They don't want you to use natural supplements, or it's like the government or the media. There's always a big boogeyman in marketing in other niches. And for years, I thought about what is the boogeyman, what is the antagonist in the make money niche, because it seems like they're, I couldn't figure it out. Is it the media? Is it the education system? Is it the government? And what it really is, and I've talked to people who have sold close to $1 billion in this industry. I'm very big on like mentorship and all that stuff, but basically the boogeyman is people's own skepticism, people's own lack of belief in themselves. So when they see somebody, and my job is to not take it personally. When they see somebody like me who is able to afford nice things in life, who's able to have freedom of my time, who's able to do it at a young age, it can, and who says, look, I'm not technical, I'm not all these things. It kind of conflicts with, either it forces people to say, okay, I have to step up, or to put me down to maintain their personal satisfaction level. So I understand people are putting me down. It's not a reflection on me necessarily. It's oftentimes a reflection on them. So
yeah,
I try not to take it personally, but it's fucking hard.
I think words are very important, and that's why I'm not a linguist by any means, but I really do look at wording that people use. And I think it's important that we at least define what scam is. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why I get so upset with that word used so much in the internet marketing space is a scam. Essentially, at the root of what it is I'm going to market a way to make some money online. And then if you just didn't deliver the product, or if you said it's 8 modules and you delivered 5, and then you withhold the 3 for another payment, to me, that's a scam, which if I were in your shoes, I would use that tactic if you ever wanted to defend. I'm not sure if you care enough to really defend, but I would use the actual word of scam to defend yourself, to say, look, I'm not a scam. And in my opinion, I think the reason why, my interpretation of why that word gets used a lot, is I just think the way that internet marketers or affiliate marketers, in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you sell a lifestyle, not so much a product, because the actual product of affiliate marketing, and I don't mean to discredit the difficulties of your line of work, but affiliate marketing at the end of the day is you're helping promote another product, right? It's kind of simple. Yeah. And it's, that's kind of the simplified version, but in order to kind of sell people, I think you sell the lifestyle, and you are notorious for using kind of some money and some exotic cars, and you live a very beautiful life with a beautiful family. And I think when people see that, they go, but wait, I thought he's selling a make money online product. Why is he talking about exotic cars? And there's a disconnect. So in my interpretation is the disconnect is where people jump in with the word scam. Would you agree? I'm not really looking for a response, or is there, would you agree with that?
Between living a flashy life and...
Oh, I don't mean to say like a flashy life. It's just necessarily like you're selling a product. And I think in order to sell that product, your advertising is advertising a lifestyle, which is what that product awards people. And so I just think that's where the disconnect is because you aren't like a Nike, right? You're not like, here's my shoe, do you want to buy it? You can't be like, here's my 8 modules online. It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to advertise. I get to you use the word freedom a lot. I live this lifestyle. I think that's where the disconnect is.
I'd agree. I mean, I believe there's a lot of disconnects in this industry. I believe this is a fledgling industry. I call it the self-education industry. I believe it's very fledgling. It's in the beginning stages. I also believe we are at the beginning of a wave, or a swell, and it's going to get bigger. And it's going to continue to grow. Just like many people discredited the internet. People thought Bill Gates was a weirdo for going into the computer lab and putting in punch cards for years. That's all he did. That's where he spent his time. And they said, what use are you going to do with these little punch cards? Like, you're spending all your time there. Like, get a real hobby. A lot of people thought, even like Jeff Bezos, he said, I'm going in 1996 or whatever it was. He said, he left New York City to go to San Francisco, saying, because he believed that the internet was going to be a big thing. And they said, he was an investment banker. He was making like, I don't know, $500,000 a year, some crazy amount of money working at like a top firm. And they said, why are you giving, like, you are for sure guaranteed going to retire in a few years, by the age of 35, or you're going to chase some weird dream out in Seattle or wherever. I believe the same thing is happening in education. And there are a lot of people who don't believe in it, who thinks it's weird, who think it's, full of, the internet was dorks, right? Dorks are,
the dorks and nerds who know how to talk to computers.
They're safe, right? They're at least, whereas, this is an industry full of marketers and teachers, and it looks very different. There's more testosterone. There's all this other stuff. But I think you have to, if you really look at the history and of education and the future of where it's going to go, it's going to look completely different in the future. And people do have to take that seriously, whether or not, I don't need people to agree with or to believe in me, but the world is changing so rapidly. It's like you can no longer, sorry to like totally go on tangents, right? I'm like, whatever.
I'm letting you talk, man. I'm letting you go.
Like the idea that you can go to college and like at 21, you have all the skills you need for life, it's not going to get you ahead anymore. Okay. People think they go to college and then they're done learning. That's not going to work anymore. Colleges and the world's changing so fast. College is no longer able to keep up, even trade schools, with the skills that people need to get ahead in whatever area of business it is. So teachers serve a very important thing. I mean, people's frustration is well placed in terms of the fatigue and stuff, but this industry is going to change, and it's going to be, it's a big thing. And I just think people have to really actually take it seriously and not just put down people, but actively talk about how we make this whole thing work instead of just trying to run away from it.
I think an interesting video that you can make is look at all the jobs that have been created. Cause I know make money online is kind of your thing. Yeah. Is look at like 2009 and 2020 since the last recession, and look at all the jobs that have been created. Like you think of YouTuber, like if you go back to 2009 and said someone like, dude, I'm making a full-time income as a YouTuber. How insane is that? Uber, Lyft. Anyway, within your research, maybe you find 8 different things and talk about how, all these jobs were created in the last 10 years. And to your point that you were just trying to make, look in the next 10 years, what jobs are here? Your argument is that it's going to be online. You need to be comfortable with this. And maybe you can look into some jobs that you believe will be here, like for the next 10 years that people should get on today.
And Jeff Bezos talks about this, right? He did a speech at the university I went to, which was Southern Methodist University in Dallas. And he he's from Texas, owns a lot of land out there. He talked about how, he said, because people were saying, oh, Jeff, all your roboticization and AI and all this stuff, isn't it all killing jobs? Isn't this going to lead to this whole crazy disparity? He said, look, you can't predict what jobs are going to be made. He said, marriage and family therapists. He said 1,000 years ago, there wasn't a job for like a marriage and family therapist. It wasn't like,
how about divorce lawyer?
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. Or even like, divorce lawyer, like that was not a job, even like 100 years ago, like a divorce lawyer, right? So but now there's like, I don't know, thousands or tons, millions, I don't know, but so you can't predict it. So, but the point is if you're not moving forward and learning and on the cutting edge, like YouTube or whatever, you're going to miss out on all of the new stuff to come. Even if people think I'm selling like some old, it's like, affiliate marketing is not going to be around. Well, you should be learning something because there's new stuff coming up all the time, and you're missing all the waves if you're not learning and doing stuff like that.
Agreed. All right, moving on. So you have a video on your YouTube, which has been blowing up. You've got a lot of followers. So the title of this video is How to Make Quick Money in One Day Online.
Yeah.
And so I have two issues with this.
Yeah.
And within the first 20 seconds of the video, you notify the viewer that you will share how they can earn big money. And I believe you use the word big in one day, which in my opinion is get rich quick. And I'll let you expand on this in a minute. And then the second critique is your strategy is to kind of have people promote a training by you in their social media. So you have a training and then you want them to promote your training on their social media. And I think you were implying in that video that this is how they learned how to make money. So just in my interpretation, that your students are posting trainings on how to make money online, and that's how they make money online. It's kind of the circle. And I think this is where one of the criticisms might come in. So to review, to let you handle both of the questions. Number one, YouTube videos, there's some interpretations that could be get rich quick. And then second, your students are posting videos about making money online to promote making money online, a circle. So I'll let you handle it.
So can you just state the question?
Sure. We'll start with the first one. The first one, my interpretation of your video is that you're promoting a get rich quick kind of.
Yeah. Just the question without the context. So I was trying to.
Sure. Do you believe that your videos are promoting get rich quick?
Yes. 100%.
And do you find any issues with that?
Yes. Yes, 100%. I do find issues with that. It's this tricky, I believe it's this, there's like a tricky line you kind of tread as a YouTuber, which I really don't like, which is you have to play to the audience, or else you don't have an audience. Yet you also, yet you also have to not do something that's ridiculous, or you can't lie to people or anything, because, not just because it's morally and ethically wrong, but also because you won't have an audience for very long if what you say you're going to do, you don't deliver on. So, so that's a very good way to not have any followers, not have anything long run. And I believe that video came out about 2 years ago or something like that. So, I mean, how do I I'm assuming the next question is, how do you navigate that line? I believe in that video, I told them, I didn't have them explicitly say something. It was one of those gray area things where it was kind of like, this video taught me how to make money online, but it didn't like have an explicit claim that they made money online. But there was definitely some like wordplay there. What's ironic about it is that the post, the marketing, is all we've tested these in Facebook ads and all this stuff. It's good. It's not going to work for everybody, but there's a percentage of the time it works. And, I've students in like Kenya, some guy wrote to me, made $1,000. He got basically 2 sales of my program. I mean, he's 15 in Kenya.
Yeah, you're changing his life.
It's more than they make in an entire year there. So it's I don't know. So like, yeah, it doesn't work for everybody. The majority of people fail, results vary, all that stuff. But some people's lives, it does change. It is, that video was especially aggressive. And what's funny, it was especially played to kind of like that get rich quick mentality. And what's funny is that is my most successful video, right?
In terms of viewers, or in terms of you feel like you help the most people?
In terms of how many new subscribers I got, in terms of how many views it got. I have videos with more views, but those are all ads.
Right. So here's a question to you. So let's assume that it's factual. And I think it's safe to assume that if you're promoting how to make, let's say, $1,000 a day using Google, right? Let's assume that it is entirely possible that the student can do just that.
Sure.
Do you think that you as a content creator, it's a responsibility of you to mention that, hey, maybe this isn't for everyone? Or do you believe that just presenting something that is factual in your world through your eyes, you absolutely can teach how to make 1,000 a day from Google because you've done it, right? So do you think you have responsibility to mention that it might not be for everyone?
I think if you're selling something, that is,
which, let's be clear, I think on these videos, you are not selling anything, right?
yeah. On these videos, I'm just teaching people how to be affiliates.
Right. So that's where I think this might be actually be a different conversation because it's not a sales funnel.
Yeah. But I mean, the question still stands. I think people are allowed to make their own choices. I think there's two views of humanity. One is that people don't have free will. They don't have choice. They can't be trusted to make their own decisions. And I think generally those people tend to favor big government because the belief is that government will take care of them, and more regulations are needed because people can't figure stuff out for themselves. And then there's the other side, which believes that people can people can do their research. People can look things up. People can go to channels such as this one and and basically do their research and just make their own decision. Or people are resourceful, people are smart, people are capable, and more government regulation is not needed because ultimately people can self-organize. So I really think whether people can make their own decisions, I think it kind of devolves into that.
Yeah. What's tough about a guy like you is that the information you sell works. I think it's fair to say that, right? You've proven it with yourself. You have plenty of people making money. So you have a lot of testimonials. So it's anyone criticizing your information, I don't think is fair because you've shown that it works. In my interpretation of, I think what would be best for the industry as a whole, and this isn't just aiming at you, this is just kind of like a lot of this niche is, I think it would be nice. And my interpretation of transparency would be to maybe talk a little more and say, hey, if you're of this type, maybe after coaching a lot of people, you've noticed that a certain type of person, it's not a good fit at that moment for your courses. And maybe to bring up and say, hey, if you just recently got married, this is just an example. If you just recently got married, maybe this course isn't for you at this time, but I'm going to give out all this value on YouTube. And when the timing's right, then you can buy the course. Yeah. I don't know if we're getting off on a tangent, but
no, it's because so this is a really interesting question I've thought a lot about. All of last year, I believed my business was, because I'm looking to become a billionaire, which is very different than the business I'm in right now. Tai Lopez is never going to be a billion. The business model I'm in pretty much caps out around 25 million a year, 50 million a year if I'm lucky.
Is that income earned or business valuation?
Business, not neither. That's business revenues. The sorts of business, these businesses have zero valuation. Education type business. I mean, it's like nothing.
Probably because it's all you, right? Like if you step away, it's no longer a business.
Yeah. I mean, you can do some things, but there's not a multiple, it's like
right.
One, if anything, half. So I was thinking about this. I was thinking to myself, as an education business, and to do education business, I have to be the best. I have to, it's all about education. I have to get deeper into the education algorithm than anybody else, not marketing, just like actual education. Like how does this whole thing work? And, I looked at the success rates of my students, and like, here's a blaring example, right? Generally speaking, people who are younger and people have some sort of marketing or sales or commission only job experience, commission based experience, far higher success rates. People who have not done, people who have worked on a salary or an hourly wage their whole lives, far less success. People who are older, generally far less success in terms of money. But I was the, can you spot the logical can you spot the fallacy there? From what I've told you, and I didn't tell you much, but from what I told you, there is a fallacy there. There's an assumption that I was working off of. Can you spot it?
Well, you're assuming that you know their background, for one, and you're assuming that, right? You made the assumption that their career, that you know their career.
I asked them those things.
Oh, you did ask those things. Okay, then I'm unable to find the fallacy.
I was basing success off of money. Not everybody who's taking my courses are necessarily looking to make more money right away. I didn't realize that at first. That was coming from my own mind, that I thought everybody that's taking my training courses is purely measuring things based off of money. And for me, that's my mindset, right? I'm in a money niche. I'm a money guru. I'm a money teacher, make money online, all that stuff, right? Lamborghini, right? I'm Lamborghinis and stuff in all my ads. Is that not, am I just totally, I should just be filtering out all of the people. But what's, like my ads are fueled with testosterone. Guess, and well, I won't do the guess thing again. Basically, my audience is almost, it's like 55-45 female to male.
Wow. I would have guessed 80-20 or higher.
I know. On YouTube it is. On YouTube it's 80-20, male, female. On people who actually purchase my training course, it's almost equal.
Wow.
People of all age ranges take my course. And even though my audience on YouTube is fairly young. Now, I did not understand this at first. And I thought everybody was taking a training course because they wanted just more money. And I believe your audience, yeah, exactly. Your audience, Coffeezilla's audience, my audience on YouTube, and we see the comments. And I know we all, I'm assuming we all, look at the comments and, or, kind of whatever. There are a lot of people that take training courses simply because they want to learn. They want to set up a website. They want to show their grandkid that they set up a website. They want to start a business with their son. They want to, they're doing it and they want to do it, and then they want to pass along. There's more reasons than I ever thought. And that's why I really find this whole education thing interesting, is people have far more reasons for getting a course than just money. But why wouldn't females, why would a 55-year-old woman buy my course from testosterone fueled Lamborghini ads with, models in the background and bikini? Why would they buy from me rather than somebody that is, that looks slightly more like them, that's more compassionate, that's not so much of, because my audience, even all my students, they don't necessarily like me, but they like me as a teacher, right? But why wouldn't they buy from because there aren't female gurus. There aren't work-at-home mothers. There isn't a 55-year-old, Marie Forleo is not putting her ads. Marie Forleo is like the only female guru I can think of. There isn't a female affiliate marketing guru that's putting themselves out there. This industry is so freaking small right now. And people don't know where to find people except through ads. So I think it's I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically it's not just money why people are buying these courses. There's more than that.
Sounds like maybe, I don't know, a month after you sell a course, maybe a simple question, maybe that'll give you some good data. You know, why did you buy this course?
We poll our audience like insane.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
We poll I mean, even look at my YouTube channel. Go in the community tab. You'll see every week we're polling people, and every week we follow up our polls. I get 1,000 responses within a day, which is great. We poll our people. We have so many Google forms in the back end of our course and email sequences just sitting around in our members area, because I mean, this is really the result of this year, but I mean, we've gone, but even I call up all my not all my customers, but whenever I have issues, like I call up a bunch of people and I just ask them, what are your problems? What are your problems? So marketing, I started talking about this yesterday. I've been kind of having like a little bit of a turnaround when it comes to marketing. Is the problem with marketing is that it is, and Alex Becker said this best, is marketing is a race to the bottom. There's nowhere good you can go with marketing, because I saw this big video he was saying about there's one-upmanship in marketing. And the problem with one-upmanship in marketing is that it gets to a point where the only place to go getting better at marketing is into claims that you can't back up. It doesn't make the world a better place. You need marketing, you need marketing to grow a business. If you can't market, you're shit out of luck. You're broke. You're always going to be broke. But that, as you get better, but then there's a line, right? And I think Alex Becker was talking about this. I know the words to say, it's like guaranteed 25, I'm going to get you guaranteed $2,500 a week, passive recurring income that only requires 30 minutes of work or less per day.
Yeah, watch the video where you basically said, fill in the blank. This is line 1, line 2, line 3.
So the words in market, and every niche has their thing, like Dr. Oz endorsed miracle pill magically cures cancer. Yeah, say you cure cancer. Say Dr. Oz endorses it and it cures cancer and coronavirus. And people sell that sort of stuff. And they make millions, tens of millions of dollars. And some of them, and then some of them get caught and go to jail. So that's the problem with marketing, is that there's only, you can't just infinitely get better at it, right? There's a point, like, and I believe, Alex Becker is so interesting to me. He's such a smart guy, but I believe he reached that point and he said, dude, I can't, if I got better at market, if I know how to be better at marketing, but that's not the way to go. The only way to go is, but you can get better at making products, right? You can get better at making software. You can get better at making a product, right? Whether that's a software product, whether that's a really neat razor, whether that's a car like, Elon's building with Tesla. You can always build a better car. I don't think there's any cap on how good of a car you can build. You can always build a better spaceship, right? We're not on the moon. We're not on space yet. So, that's why I believe, Elon, it was essentially a marketing business. They were doing sales, right? That was his first business.
You're definitely going on a tangent.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to reel you back.
But the point, products
I think
are a better focus. Sorry.
To defend you, I think what makes it challenging is if your competitor, you're running a business, and if your competitors are crossing that line, if you want to feed your family, you've got to cross the line with them. And I think where he coming from, and I get the sense that you care as well, is that you want someone to define that line. And let's say, let's get to a point where then let's focus on the product.
I didn't say I want somebody to find that line, because
Oh
I
no,
think there are
that's my
definitions for that
interpretation.
line.
But
I think it's hard to enforce. The issue is with all of this like lookalike audience targeting and like I think it was easier to enforce a lot of this stuff in the olden days when everything was on, there was 60 channels on TV, right? Or
right.
there's 50 channels on TV. That's it. There are a couple cable stations. Easy to enforce it, right? There's so many news magazines. There's like USA Today. There's the New York Times. There's the LA Times. There's the Washington Post. It was manageable. Now we're in a place where you can, I mean, it's just the targeting is insane. The bubble, what is it called? The sounding feedback board, where you'll never see anything you don't want. It's very, email lists and all this stuff. And you have to be on email list within an email list, a segment of an email list. And only those people will get maybe some sort of webinar, JV webinar for some high ticket, so there's, I've even had guys say this. I said, I told my one friend, I won't mention his name, but I was like, dude, like, this is the most fucking aggressive webinar I've ever seen. How do you get away
I don't
with
think they
this?
have enough resources. The FTC.
And he said, dude, no, it's all back end.
And let me
back ends of back ends.
Yeah, let me ask you, what's your interpretation of the FTC? We kind of talked about regulatory. Do you believe that there should be a regulatory body? And if you do believe that, do you think one exists currently?
Yeah, I do believe there should be a regulatory body, because there are like, there are laws about claims, and you can't do stuff. You can't blatantly lie to people. You can't, just like, and I think the most intense of this is you can't say something is, even if it's like organic and it isn't organic, or it doesn't have peanuts in it and it has, because that people actually die. So, I think, a lot of regulation is, I know the there is a task force that actively goes after people in the business opportunity areas. But all the people you and Coffeezilla talk about are most of the people, they don't care about. I mean, I don't see them caring one bit. I mean, Dan Locke's in Canada, but really, like, all of, people think I'm the bad guy. People think, all Dan Locke and all these guys are the bad guys. The bad guys, and Coffeezilla started hitting on this, there's like multi-billion-dollar like cryptocurrency Ponzi MLM schemes out there, and it's all done it's all done in like seminars or events. It's you're in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
They have their things in Las Vegas, or like stuff. There are multi-billion-dollar crypto Ponzi schemes out there.
Yeah, and really what we're doing with the internet marketing guys, I think we don't, at least me personally, I don't view the products as scams. Any of your product, I've never been through them, but I would never label them as scams. I think we're kind of arguing some of the marketing, and that's probably not worth their time when they have a chance to go save 800 million from this Ponzi scheme over here in Bitcoin or whatever. So they're
huge fish to fry.
And those are actual scams. Like, we're talking Bernie Madoff pyramid schemes. Yeah.
Oh, and so the way it works is, generally speaking, once a business reaches about 20 to generally it doesn't happen until a business reaches about 25 to 50 million dollars a year. Usually it's after 50 million dollars a year is like, from what I've seen, businesses, even scams, even the scams, they don't really have anything to worry about until they're doing about $50 million a year. That's just an indicator. It's not the amount of money they're doing. What is an indicator is the amount of like BBB complaints. They really look at BBB complaints. And we know companies can do all sorts of things to take down BBB complaints. But if you're in one of these like crypto Ponzi schemes where it's like you invested, like your life savings, and then like you're like, hey, can I get my like distribution? And they're like, no, we're holding the
Yeah.
funds.
Hold off. We're getting too good at returns right now.
Reinvesting it in the aggressive growth fund. You're going to triple your money. Just give us 3 more months. Those BBB complaints get out of control. And they start to really stack up, and the calls start happening to basically that when it gets out of control and actual stuff like that, that's when investigations start happening. From my understanding, it can happen at any level, but really what they're going after is there's a famous one called there's some big ones that happen, but
yeah, I'm gonna reel it back to
they're over $100 million.
Got it. I'm gonna reel it back to internet marketing. So
yes.
one really important question that I want you to answer. So I use the term unethical marketing, and I was wanting to get unethical marketing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your interpretation of what you believe unethical marketing is, and what do you believe ethical marketing is?
Unethical marketing. I would say I would, the best thing I could go by is sort of like, are you not just going by the legal definition of stuff? I would really stick to the legal definitions. Are you making claims that you can't back up? Are you lying? Are you, I wouldn't classify pushy sales as unethical. I think coercion, I think blackmailing, I think things that are like lawful, illegal pushy sales tactics, which I believe there are some of, are bad. I think things should not just be properly disclaimed, but they should be made very clear. So a classic example is people will vary their terms and conditions, and they'll say results may vary, and they'll put it in like an 6-point font, and then they'll put it in like gray scale, and they'll say, oh, I disclaimed it. It's like, but you didn't really. Where it gets into gray territory is, like I'll make people agree that they understand that results may vary. I'll say you have to agree to these rules before you can even.
And you do that before people purchase?
What?
You do that before people purchase?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, that's also a good marketing technique, is like this isn't for everyone. So even you're saying, do you qualify people? That can even be positioned as a marketing technique. Is, I could say, look, this isn't for everyone. You have to understand, and you could go really aggressive with it. You may not make anything, but you may make a lot of money. And you must agree that if you make a lot of money, you will pay it forward, or something like that, right? And then it's like, yeah, sure,
Yeah. Because I want to create a course one day within a very specific niche in real estate. And when it comes to course selling, what I appreciate, and this isn't necessarily I'm trying to act as like the regulatory body, but I think it's best to kind of qualify people. In my opinion, that's a more ethical side. And it sounds like you do. So this isn't a critique of you, but you've mentioned before that you have noticed a very clear trait in what students succeed. I think if your number one goal is to help the students, whether they make money, whatever their success metric is, if your goal of that, I think it's best to qualify people to make sure that they're best set up for success. And so that's one criticism I have of the make money online niche, is that I want to see more disqualification. And again, this isn't a critique of you. I have not seen enough to say that you do or do not do this. But I think some of the people in the space, I think their brand would be much better off if they were to kind of add these, because the biggest complaints of the Dan Locks and people like that are these guys that have no income, credit card, and then they use credit card to purchase these courses. And that to me is unethical, is when people do not have income, they don't really have the ability to pay, and they put the course on a credit card, which in my opinion furthers them away from the probability of success. All right, so I do have a question regarding marketing. So in your ads, I've seen an ad or two of yours where the main devices in your marketing are flash. You got the exotic sports car,
Yeah.
and women in bikinis, private helicopter, all this stuff, claims of wealth, the fun stuff. And it is very catchy.
And by the way, I am a helicopter pilot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I actually like flying helicopter. It's long story about that, but basically at like my friend's 6-year-old, he was the rich kid in my elementary school. It was like his 6th birthday or something, it was laser tag and go up in his dad's helicopter. And he was the rich kid at school. Every other kid went up in the helicopter except me, because my parents wouldn't sign the release form. They didn't want me doing it. And I stood there and watched every kid go up and every kid come down with like big ear to ear grin on his face. Just like everybody was talking about it for the next like week or two. And I was the only kid who couldn't do it.
There's the creation. There's the creation of the affiliate marketer, the traumatic event that set the world on fire. You wanted to get that private helicopter.
Sorry, I had to go on a tangent.
No, all good. But let me finish the question. And
Sure.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. In the interview with Coffeezilla, you had mentioned that this is not really your lifestyle. I believe you said you drive a truck.
I drive a Tacoma. It's like I backed up in my garage last week, or a month ago. So like the brake light is like not even like fully on right.
Okay, so my question to you is, so you use certain devices in your marketing that I don't believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe represent your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Is that a fair criticism to say that this isn't very authentic of you to use stuff that you don't use in your lifestyle to market your products?
No, because I believe they're aspects of my life. All of these are aspects of my life. I love driving fast cars. I wouldn't want to own one. Maybe I'll get one, but it's not high up there just because it's such a bad investment. Every year when we go out to Affiliate Summit, I get a bunch of friends together. I get people up at like 6 a.m. and motherfuckers do not want to get up. Sorry if I'm swearing, but I'm just discussion.
As long as I don't get demonetized, I gotta put food on the table.
Okay. I'll stop. Okay. Well, basically, it is hard at Affiliate Summit. Everybody comes to party, and it is hard to get people up at 6 a.m. because everybody's been drinking. I get people up at 6 a.m. because I said, I don't want to just drink out here. I want to do cool stuff. I've always been that guy who likes doing really cool stuff. Everybody else around me, I feel like just the majority of humans like going out, like drinking or partying or watching Netflix, or like, I like activities. So I get everybody up. We rent supercars. There's this place you can rent exotics for cheap, an Aventador convertible, like lime green is like $1,000 a day. It's like this off-strip place. If you ever want, I can give you. But basically, we'll go and we'll just it'll be like 8 of us, and we'll just all race around. We'll go to a Painted Desert, or we'll go to Red Rock. Those are the 2 cool places. I found Painted Desert's like 2 hours outside of the city, so it's a haul because you have to go there. But
that's where you shoot your ads, on that straightaway where you can turn it up.
We went out there one time to shoot my ads because I thought I was like, dude, this is the place. So I've always loved like doing really cool stuff. And in my ads, I don't say these are, I own these cars. But obviously it's assumed if I'm driving them that but even for most people that take my courses, like they would never be able to drop like $1,000 or $1,200 in a day. They wouldn't have like the free time on a Tuesday to just get up and do this stuff. And, these situations it's just not part of their reality. So those are aspects of my life. I fly helicopter. I love learning how to fly helicopters. I have my pilots. I have my solo pilot certification. I'm going for like, there's more certifications you have to, but I love doing that stuff. I like kite surfing. I like, I go skydiving with friends. My one friend, he's the same age as me, 32, and he's worth like $150 million. He was out in LA, and I said, dude, he was going through some existential crisis. He didn't know what he wanted to do in life.
How to spend that money. That's such a hard decision to make.
Oh, it's not about spending money.
Sure.
It wasn't, I mean, he's got all the money. He just didn't know where he wanted to go in life. And, and I said, dude, we're going to go out to Ojai. We're going to smoke a lot of weed. We're going to sit in the jacuzzi, and then we're going to go skydiving the next morning. And by the time we finish skydiving, I think we'll figure it out. And he was like, oh, okay, like I'll, we'll go on a little boycation, whatever, or whatever, vacation, two
Sure,
guys.
sure.
So it was like,
Actually, sorry to cut you off. I have a question for you. So let's say I came up with a challenge and I said, John Crestani,
I always do. So that's another thing.
Hold on, let me finish my question. You've been cutting me off. So here's the challenge for you. I'm the FTC and I say, you know what, John, I'm going to challenge you to make an ad that converts. You cannot use your money gun and you can't use exotic cars or helicopter. Do you have confidence that you'd be able to sell your current products without using these marketing devices?
Bro, I already did. It's on TV.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Bro, we're doing these interviews with, so we've gone on to TV infomercials because, I'm trying to get to, we're trying to grow. Like Facebook ads is really annoying. YouTube ads, it's cool, but it's like not as much scale as we'd like. Google ads, we haven't cracked it yet. I'm gonna have to hire like people to figure, I can figure that out, but it's just a little more like you're dealing with an unknown quantity. So I said, I'm gonna go TV. So we've got infomercials on TV. They're airing, right before or after Dean Graziosi and stuff. They're converting like crazy. We filmed one during lockdown, first day of lockdown, or the day before lockdown. And it's just a book interview. It's just a book interview. And it's me speaking with an interviewer, talking about my book. It's marketing is when you understand what people are looking for and what objections are and stuff like that. It's not difficult. It's a very useful skill.
By the way, I want to cut in right here. This is why I appreciate conversations like this a lot, because most of my criticisms, a lot of it comes from like trying to understand. And to me, I enjoy like hearing from your perspective. Like I'm glad to be proven wrong, right? Like I see it as maybe this guy can't market without the exotic cars or the lifestyle. And if you can, that's why it's very healthy to have discussions such that if I bring up a criticism and you can say, actually, I am doing it. I think that's good. And that's why I appreciate you having the ability to come on these discussions. I think it's good for the industry. And this is where I'm coming from, like transparency is like critics like me. It's healthy for us to criticize, but then we want to see we're criticizing. Well, at least I am from a place of love. Like I want to see the industry improve. And so it's very good that you can come on and say, actually, let me address that. I'm actually doing it. So anyway.
Did you see the Coffeezilla video where he basically catches a fake guru and he found my first infomercial I did?
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about this at the end. Let's move on.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about this.
Basically, that one didn't work out at all.
Okay.
That bombed. That was a complete failure. The one I did under lockdown looks really ugly. The sound's off because I had some like college kids from Cal Lutheran. Like they just messed everything up. So we're using wrong audio feeds. That one, for $2,500 out converted and is profitable on TV more so than the one I spent $250,000 on with Chris Hansen and stuff.
Wow. All right. On to the next question. This is a criticism I have of the industry and you do it. So I'm going to bring it to your attention. And that is in some of your videos, and I believe in your ads, the form of marketing is to say, no friends, no family. You don't need to be a tech expert. You don't need to know programming. Mm-hmm. And you lead with that. And in my opinion, that's kind of getting into that gray area of the unethical, where it's like taking away all the objections. You don't need all of this. Oh, by the way, you can sell the course. I don't really have like a great question with it, but in my opinion, I think it would be nice to have a little more of a disclaimer.
What do you mean?
So a disclaimer meaning this isn't necessarily for everyone. Certainly these are all factual. You don't need to be a tech expert to do what you do. You don't need to, have a great influence, all yada, yada, yada. But this comes back to the disclaimer of here's what the product really is, and here's who it's for. Here's who it works best for. Do you agree that those type of disclaimers need to be involved with that type of advertising or marketing?
It's tricky, right? Because you say that, like, okay, every webinar, for every hour long a webinar is, you need to have up a earnings claim disclaimer with the amount of money each person made, but it should also be a chart. It should show the difference between male and female. Then it should actually show age ranges as well. And it should be on the screen for 30 seconds for every hour long the webinar is. And then people do so, like they stop using webinars and they start using VSLs, or they start doing things totally live, or they start doing or they do like quiz funnels, or it goes back to door-to-door sales, or it goes back to seminars. And then instead of people doing webinars and selling education online, they start lead genning people into seminars. So I think you can't,
by the way, I don't think I worded that really well. It's not really an unethical way to sell. It is a very powerful way. I know what you're doing. You're basically eliminating the common objections that you probably hear.
Well, it's what people want to hear. People want to know, people want to know, okay, is this selling to friends and family? Is this, can I do this in, New Zealand? Can I join this program if I'm under 18? Can I, is this going to cost me a lot of money? Those are so that's easy, because those are just the things that people want to know right off.
And by the way, they're factual. So I don't, this is why I'm not labeling you like a fraud or a scammer, because that they are true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think well, this is more of a discussion, not so much a question or criticism. I just think, in my interpretation, I just wish to see more disclaimers or qualification. We've already discussed this, so we can move on.
So what happens from my understanding, everything in marketing and sales, it's a social thing. It's a, people get acclimated to it. People know that if some guy shows up in a suit with a leather briefcase, knocks on your door, has a big funny smile, and he says, "Hey, how are you doing? Could I speak to the head of the household?" And, you're like, can I come in and, sit? I wanted to discuss about your life insurance policy. Like, is your, and the woman's like, "Oh, the head of the household's not here. I'm in." It's like, "Oh, your husband's out working. Is he the proper," you're being set up for a sales pitch. He has a suit, he has a tie, he has a briefcase. That's social conditioning. That's social conditioning. People, it's not that people know. There was a time in 1905 where a guy showed up to your door in a suit and a briefcase, and you said, "Whoa, a businessman." You said, "Wow, a businessman in my neighborhood? Oh, he wants to talk to me? Oh, wow. This is a big deal for me. I'm just an average housewife." And people get conditioned to it. Now people know if they go on a used car lot, they're going to expect a sales pitch. It didn't always used to be that way. It used to be back in like the 1950s, a used car lot. It was like, used cars were like, people didn't even know you could buy a used car. It was like, oh, usually you just bought them and they broke, people kept them in their family because you had to be rich to have a car, or they broke down all the time. So it wasn't like there was but once there were used cars, it was like, oh, that means I can get a car for cheaper than I would pay a new price. So it was like a big deal. So they're like, "Wow, this is so exciting. I'm going to get a good deal." So it's sales and marketing. It's all a pattern of social conditioning. People kind of suss this stuff out over time. So I think the more you try to clamp down on it, the more it just evolves into something else. But I believe the important thing here is that people do research, which is why even though I am butchered by you and Coffee and all these guys, is that it's still an important part of the industry. It's just, it just is. So, I believe in self-regulation. I heard I follow that guy. I don't know. I keep citing Alex Becker. Alex Becker said there needs to be government regulation, which I disagree with. I believe people are smart. I think Alex Becker thinks he's super smart, and I believe he believes that people are smarter than him, or that he is smarter than other people. So maybe that's where that's coming from. But I believe people are smart. They can make their own decisions. And that's why I believe
what's challenging though is that when you're really good at marketing and sales,
yes,
there are persuasive, I think we can both agree that there are certain persuasive techniques that you can use to—
they're bad eggs.
Yeah. To dissuade.
There are for sure bad eggs. And they all seem to go through this. They all seem to spend time at the same Scottish castle.
No names, no name drops. So next question. My interpretation of your business is that you run a lot of paid advertising. So first question, is that accurate that a lot of your business comes from paid advertising?
If you consider if you don't count affiliates, because I don't consider affiliates paid advertising. Yeah, I'd say about a third of my business comes from paid advertising right now.
Okay. And so
about a third of my info product business.
Yeah.
Paid advertising.
So for me, like you mentioned transparency, bringing transparency into the industry. One form of that I wish would enter the industry is for gentlemen like you to maybe discuss your advertising budgets. And I know that it gets a little tricky where it's not, you don't have to look at every single number and open up your books for everyone. But I think it would be nice to know how much, people see you and go, man, I want to be like John Crestani. I want to take the course and become him. I mean, he's driving Lambos and he gets to spend all this time with his family. I would want to be him, but maybe they don't understand that what you've created right now, a lot of it is, well, a third of it, according to you, is built on paid advertising. You have a big social media that was built from paid advertising, kind of getting your name out there. Yeah. And so I kind of wish that people like you would maybe be a little bit more open about how much you spend, your expenditures, so people understand like, okay, I can buy his course, and maybe a reasonable expectation would be to get to your level in 5 years. Would you agree that it would be better for the industry for people like you to then start talking about expenses?
Yeah, right. Expenses aren't as sexy. So
yeah.
General rule of thumb in business for everyone out there watching is for internet businesses, it's 20% profit margin, gross net profit at the end of the year.
And to be clear, you're saying, hey, I'm running $1 million a year business. You're saying you're seeing 200 after expenses.
They're seeing 200. Yeah.
Okay.
If general rule of thumb is if somebody says they're making $10 million a year, that they're making 1 to 2. Okay. And because that 20% number generally normalizes. The real rule of thumb for business is 10 to 15%. Okay. 10 to 15% across the board is like, once you're above maybe 10 million, it's 10 to 15. You'll just see businesses 10 to 15% profit margin. That's like what stays in the company. 5 to 10% is acceptable, but not generally where you want to be at. If it's anything below 5%, you're not running your business right. I'm in a group called Entrepreneurs Organization, which is it's an offshoot of this thing called YPO, which has been around, Young Presidents Organization, which has been around since the 50s. I meet every month with a group of 8 other individuals who are in my what's called forum. I've been doing this for the last 6 years. every month consistently. And older guys, you know, I'm one of the younger guys in it. It's kind of like almost like a cigar club, you know, it's an entrepreneur's club. And, you know, some guys come in, some guys go out, some people, you know, sell their businesses. Some people buy new business, you know, buy businesses, you know, people are doing some people pivot, some people, you know, if their revenue, you know, but everybody in this group, their revenues are $1 million and above. And so that's where those numbers are coming from. I study business a lot. I study business a lot. Sorry for that. I'm looking up my Google Ads numbers for last year. Do you want me to I can break down my numbers here. Is that what you're
just
getting
for the sake of time, just give the audience just one or two numbers, just so they're curious.
Okay. For last year, we did 4.5
in ad spend.
Maybe about 4.5 in info product sales, which is my training course. We did, then we did about 2.5 in affiliate kind of sales, Then we did like I'd say about 200 on YouTube.
From the AdSense, just from the ads.
From AdSense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the,
yeah, I just think it would be really cool for you to make a video just titling, you know, talking about how much you spend.
Yeah,
I think that'd be valuable to your audience as well.
$1,000 a day. Let me just use my keyboard real quick.
Okay.
We were spending a lot last year. We've spent less as my brand has grown. A lot of my affiliates are doing the spend for me.
Yeah, you have developed a pretty good system that I think upsets some people, but it seems pretty ethical what you're doing. I mean, you're essentially teaching people internet marketing, affiliate marketing, and then they're selling your course. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And a lot of them are doing
you have like a little army selling your products.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, and let me, okay. So we spent, wait, I have so many accounts. Sorry about this. Basically,
no worries. I would recommend, it would be cool if you made a video about it.
Profit take home 1.2 million last year. I'd say we spent like over $1 million in ads, but
wow.
But my take home was 1.2.
Interesting. Good stuff. Okay, so you might still be, you were an affiliate marketer. I'm curious, like how much, a lot of your videos, you're talking about how someone can get on Instagram and make money, how someone can get on Google and make money. I'm just curious, how much of your business now is you down in the trenches really doing that kind of stuff? What a lot of people perceive as affiliate marketing.
So the TV infomercial stuff has 100% been me in the freaking trenches. Every time I release an so that's been a big thing, and it's annoying. I feel I want to be focused on the vision. I want to be focused on the strategy. I want to be focused on, you know, our strategy is, you know, basically, because nobody's ever going to invest in, like, how do I get to $1 billion, right? Like, it's like how I've like.
You mentioned Ty Lopez earlier, by the way. He's buying businesses. You might be wrong about him. I think he's gonna hit it. He bought Dress Barn.
Okay, we'll see.
Sure. That's another conversation.
Yeah, anyway. But basically that's our approach. We're going to, we need to buy and combine stuff with ourselves. We need dev teams, so we're moving software route for sure. We're kind of looking at like hosting company. We're gonna, you know, so blah, 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 blah. Basically, I want to focus. I work with investment bankers. I'm working with all these different groups, lawyers, blah blah blah. So that's where I need to be figuring out. I need to be recruiting and doing hiring.
And how much of your time? How much
trenches?
Okay, and like YouTube, in my perspective, it might be not a great use of your time to keep making videos about spending money on, you know, how you can make $100 a day on Instagram.
I've been nearly having anxiety attacks because I've been in the trenches getting this infomercial like thing running. And that, just to give you an idea, that's like potentially, low end. It's like, basically it's like $1 to $3 million a week.
Wow.
in additional income that should bring me. That's kind of the, or that should bring the business. The hardest part is getting a creative that works. We got a creative that works. Now we have to set up the whole back end. It's like salespeople and call routing systems and Salesforce and like seminars and like legal compliance.
Seminars. You said the word.
Warehousing, fulfillment. I'm not, I have another company that does some, because I get so many people that come through my thing. They want seminars.
Just please do not do the seminar that I critique heavily.
Oh, really?
The seminars where you get people three upsells, you get them in for free, and then you can come next weekend for 3-day event for $2,000, and then you give them like just a little taste. You just give them just a little bit, and then a month later it's $40,000 on their credit card.
They're not that organized yet. They're not. They're not.
I will tell you. I like you. You seem like a nice guy, but if you do a seminar, I will critique it. If you do that kind of seminar setup.
Hey, you know what? We do them. The
FTC comes after those too. So just be aware. The setup that I told you about.
How about this? I'll let you know. But
can I be in the back with like a lab coat
right after affiliate summit? But it wasn't very well organized because it's just, some dude was like, dude, I can, like, and frankly, the students people want. Here's the thing though, is people want 80-20. They want 80% online. They do want in person. People want to get together. People want one-on-one mentorship, and they want seminars. They want to all congregate somewhere. They want to meet other students. They want to talk to other people.
And there's a lot of value in that, 100%.
And they want one-on-one. So again, these are not things that we run under my business, my business umbrella. These are like, more like affiliate type deals. But this is what it's what people want in education. They want online. They want mostly online and some offline. They want to get together. They want to meet other people. So
for the sake of time, I just have a couple final questions that are a little quicker. So one of my criticisms of a lot of course sellers is that they sell a course and I think the cost is irrelevant, but there's a cost. And after the course is completed, in order to succeed, there are more costs. I'm in the real estate space, so I'm very biased with this. And it's, here's $2,000 course. You only have $2,000, go buy real estate. Well, now you don't have any money, so you're not a good fit. So I'm just curious, for your students, when you sell them a course, are there any costs following the course in order to be successful? And if there are, what are they?
So that's the tricky part about, that's the tricky part about what I sell and why it's been harder for me to sell my course than it has been for other people's courses, is because you have to tell people, otherwise you get chargebacks or refunds. You have to tell people you're going to need $1,000 for advertising.
And you do say that.
I have to, otherwise I get chargebacks.
Okay.
Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do business because
I'm just asking because I've never been through your funnel, so I just want to clarify.
You have to. You have to. Basically, like if you just blatantly don't deliver,
which goes into what I was saying earlier about qualifiers. To me, you doing that is a form of ethical selling when you make it clear that you need some money afterwards.
Yeah, but it's also kind of a built-in thing because I work through ClickBank, so I'm not. There are some guys who like open up a bunch of merchant accounts, and then they'll rotate them, so they'll like load what's called load balance, like hundreds of different merchant accounts, or however big the business is. I work through ClickBank because I don't have any employees. I'm literally just it's just me, my company right now. I'm looking to hire a CTO, but it's going to be a process. But basically, it's me. So I don't want to handle a bunch of merchant accounts. That's a job unto itself that companies have. So I'm just working with ClickBank, and if people are getting my course and can't do anything because I'm suddenly, hey, by the way, pony up some. people don't have, so they just charge back or refund or something.
Yeah. That's what hits a lot of these seminar sellers, is that they basically, the way they charge, there is no cost. Their first homework assignment is to call your credit card company to increase your credit limit. And then they basically charge the max that the student can pay for. I don't know if you're familiar with this. The FTC has come after, Dean Graziosi was a part of one of them. The Flipper Flop Stars were promoting these. Oh, these seminars are very, very scammy. That's why when you say seminar, I'm like, man, I really hope you don't go that route.
Oh, I've literally been working with, I haven't been working with anything super organized, like no.
Okay. Are they based out of Utah? Because if they are, that seems to be the location of a lot of these companies.
They are, but they haven't ever done seminars before.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like there's some hotbed of these calling places in Utah where it seems to be the root of a lot of these FTC complaints.
They haven't run that. The thing is, they haven't run seminar. I think they've just heard about it. So like my seminar is like, there was like, hey, if you want to learn like something else, there was like, one or two pitches, but it wasn't very well done. Like there wasn't, like, we printed stuff out at like the FedEx shop within Paris, Las Vegas, like the day before, because like the schedule had like typos on it. It like so it hasn't been organized, but that being said, like it's probably going to become more of a thing as my infomercial blows up, because when that blows up, I'm expecting about 10,000 new customers. If we aren't getting 10,000 new customers of my book, which is like $40 a week, I'll be devastated.
10,000 customers. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we've covered everything. I feel like the main critiques I have of you, we've addressed. And so I just have a couple quick questions that aren't criticisms. So I do these videos that are like ad reviews, YouTube ad reviews, that I think are real valuable. I'm releasing a video in another day or two. I have a buddy that runs like a lot of YouTube ads, and he critiqued it. So your time is super valuable. It won't hurt my feelings if you don't want to do it. But if you ever wanted to like jump on and critique either one of your ads or someone else's, or just from the mind of a marketer, like I think these are valuable videos because I think a lot of my audience, the reason why they follow me and Coffeezilla is some part of them wants to learn the idea of making money online. So I think there's a lot of value in actually teaching them, here's actually some ways you can improve your marketing. So if that's something you ever want to do, just shoot me a text. I've got a lot of them stored.
I love doing ad reviews. In fact, I literally just started doing ad reviews. I'm running out of ideas for my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think this is the feedback so far on my videos has been really good.
I don't know if you can see. You can't. It's too. But basically, I was just doing. I've started doing some ad reviews. I mean, I'm just running out of ideas.
Yeah, like we broke down the copy, and so if that's something you'd want to do, please let me know. It would actually be really interesting if you were comfortable doing your own ad, or if you wanted to do someone else's. We can kind of break down like what were you thinking. I'm down. Yeah, that'd be super dope. And then actually a personal question. So in your business, I am curious.
What was the answer?
Oh, I came up with 61 seconds.
Holy fuck. So I was almost right on. 65 was what I guessed.
And that's exotic sports car and allusion to it. So that's like if the logo's in the shot. 61 seconds. That's funny that you had it like kind of broken down.
1/3 pitch, 1/3 call to one-third pitch, 1/3 testimonials, 1/3 call to action. It's just
I'm curious on when you run YouTube ads. So you turn on the spigot. What ROI do you look for? Is it like an instant ROI, or are you looking? How do you measure if a YouTube ad is successful or not?
Basically, and we get so here's the other thing is like in my funnel, I'm getting commissions on hosting, on ClickFunnels. So when people register a website, I also make money. When people sign up for ClickFunnels, I also make money. I don't think people should ever recommend products that they don't make money off of. I think it's, crazy. If people sign up for Digistore, I get, a small percentage, 0.25%, 0.25 of whatever they earn. We didn't even go into this, but I believe, the other reason I like affiliate marketing is because I can actually track students. Well, now I can, not with ClickBank, but since I moved over to Digistore this year, I can see if people are making sales on Digistore. I can see if people are signing up.
Well, is there a specific ROI? Like, are you looking, you spend $1,000 a day, you want to make 2,000 in the first week. Are there certain metrics that you look for?
I want to cash over cash. I want to be at least break even every day. Cash on cash.
Okay.
basis.
And then you believe
if I spend $1,000, I need to have collected at least, let's say, I'd say $1,200. And because I know some people are joining what I have an upsell after they buy my $1,000 course called the Inner Circle, which gives them access to be on a webinar. I do live trainings with the Inner Circle members every other week. And that's $247 a month, and people love it. People say it's the crazy, you know, I'm on for like 3 or 4 hours, just going, you know, I call people out because nobody else calls people out on these training webinars. I call people, I say, you're playing scared. You're being weak. You know what? You ask this question every time. You're not taking action.
I watched your live stream. You block someone. You're like, you're being a pussy. Get off here. You're
I'll call people out. I'll say, don't stop fucking asking stupid questions. This is the third stupid question. You need to get off your ass and stop being scared. Yeah. And you know what? I think because what people want is accountability. That was one thing I learned from talking to my audience is they want accountability. And it's hard when it's not one-to-one, right? That's why they like their dream is to have me come over there and like put my arm around them, be like, hey, little buddy, here's, you know, like drag this over on the screen. Oh yeah, you know, normal mistake. Or like, come on, man, you're being lazy. Get up, do the work. You know, they want that, and frankly, I just get annoyed at some of these people for being wrong mentalities. So I just say, dude, like, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. I straight up call people out. You do. By the way,
let me jump in real quick, because one common criticism of you is that, and I think it's a very fair one, and that is that you entered into the industry as an employee, right? You were a marketer. I think on your LinkedIn you show that you were a search engine marketer or something. And so, in my perspective, I think it is fair to criticize you and say that you had 3 years of experience, that you had hands-on training, and such that when you first entered the internet marketing business, you were very trained. And I think a lot of your your followers don't have that experience. And you have alluded to, you recommend that they get in and actually get that job. So I think that's a very fair criticism, and one that, I don't know, would you want to address it all? You got to smile. Yeah, I know you're ready. You've heard it before.
I saw that. I was like, oh, he's totally missing the context here.
Okay.
What was I doing before I got that job?
Ooh, what were you? You were doing, I think you were selling tutoring, weren't you? You're trying to do the tutoring at your college campus?
Well, I did that during college.
Right.
I made money. I dropped out.
Were you internet marketing on the side? Affiliate marketing?
Oh yeah. I was trying to do internet marketing before I even tried to do tutoring.
Okay. So were you succeeding before you got your job?
Internet's tough to figure out. No, in college, bro, I'm an action taker, right? Like, that's why you were saying, like, dude, I'm going to dare you to do something, like one of those guys. I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, what is it? Like, I'm going to do it. Like, even if I don't want to do it, I'm like, I love doing dares. Like, you know, it's like, dude, jump off that like 3-story, like jump off that cliff.
I dare you to introduce me to your friend that makes $150 million. How about that? No, totally kidding, by the way. But keep going. I'm just kidding.
He's hard. He's very hard to get a hold of.
Sure.
No, so I was trying to do internet marketing. I mean, it's tough to figure out. It's like an amorphous concept. And then I started like doing tutoring. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put up these posters. I got that business doing 10,000. I was doing 10,000 a semester, which is like, for me, that was like fucking 19 years old or 20. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking crushing it.
You were buying the bar.
I was selling shit on eBay. You know, I was doing all this random crap, right? I was selling other people's stuff on eBay, selling shit from people's garages, doing like rev shares. You know, I was doing a lot of stuff, right? And then I left college, and I was like, I'm just going to keep running my internet business. And I had this tutoring business, and I'd put up these flyers. Like I had an ad. It was a flyer. It was little tear tabs, but it worked, right? And and I would take it to different college campuses and I'd put it up. I'd put it up in the right spots, and like, you know, and it brought me business. And I could just go around different college campuses and put up these flyers, but I'd get kicked out of some, or they'd get torn down, or it was difficult. I couldn't really hire people to do it because they're kind of like, they're like, we don't, you know, the security says, you know, we don't want to put them up, but I knew it converted. So I was like, I don't need college. I'm going to just do this. I'm making money. I have this, like, some money from the internet now coming in, eBay stuff, or, you know, and my business got shut, you know, stuff happened. And basically then I was doing, like, it was the summer. So I started doing medical tests. So I was like, I'm just going to work on my internet business, and I'm going to be in the hospital, you know, being a medical guinea pig, you know, so I'm going to get paid. And some of these medical tests, you make like five G's a month, you know, just for, I mean, you can make more than that if you do spinal taps.
You converse like me, man. You're like a tree. You like branch out and go into like a lot of details.
Yeah, but I didn't want shunts in my spine.
Sure.
So that was $10,000 a month.
So the key, anyway, let's wrap it back. So the key was you were doing internet marketing while you were.
I failed. And then I got so bad, I needed a job. And I figured, what's the best sort of job to get? Because I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. The job I got that job in the internet marketing industry because I wanted to make it big as an entrepreneur.
And I think what's difficult about guys,
I didn't even get into the job in marketing. I was doing sales. The only position they'd hire me for, because I didn't have anything, was sales. But what I did is I said, if I got in early, if I got in at 6 a.m. and I finished, you know, because they said 100, you have to do 100 calls a day. I said, I'll do 120. And I get in at 6 a.m. I'd finish by 3 p.m. And the next 3 hours, and it was a small company, like 50, 60 people. So it was like, you could kind of move around. I'd just walk down the hall and I'd shadow the PPC, the guys in the pay-per-click department. And I'd watch what they were doing and I'd make friends with them. And I said, hey, you want me to do your work for you? And they said, oh, you don't know anything yet. And then, but I'd ask that every week. And after like after 2 months, they'd say, I mean, you know, enough, like, you've been watching me 3 hours every day for like fucking 2 months. Like, yeah, you can like do these little things. And then suddenly I started doing everybody's work. Like Nice. It was like 3 people, you know, there's 5 people in the department. I was doing 3 people's work, everybody's work for them. I got good really fast. And suddenly a job position opened up in the pay-per-click department. I moved from sales over to pay-per-click. So that was a conscious effort. It wasn't like I just landed.
Sorry. So let me backtrack.
I think Dad hooked me up with like,
no. I think what's difficult for guys like you,
I created it.
You're very good at what you do. And I think what's challenging is when you become this successful guy at one niche, I think it's hard to put yourself back in the beginner's eyes. And it's a difficult thing. This is not like a criticism or anything, but it's when you kind of become a guru, it's challenging to, you know, there are a lot of people that might not be action takers, but they're just not ready. And maybe they're best.
It's confidence. Yeah. It's confidence.
By the way,
it's self-belief. People don't believe in themselves. People don't believe themselves are worthy for whatever reasons. So I did not grow up poor. I didn't have anything given to me, but I didn't grow up poor. I've always had belief in myself. And I believe a lot of people don't believe they deserve money. I know not to go.
And you got to tell them on those live streams. You got to let them have it. And you're going to block them if they don't believe in themselves.
I'm serious. I think people are pussy. I think people are so fucking, sorry, I'm demonetizing. Sure. I think people are so freaking coddled these days. They're so freaking coddled. It's so retarded. It's so retarded. People are sissies.
Well, it's scary, man. It's scary promoting other people's products.
It's clicking buttons. I'm sitting in an air-conditioned room in a little swivelly chair on a computer.
You got the money gun, man. This is the trick. This is where the confidence comes from.
My grandparents fought in World War II, and they risked their freaking lives fighting, you know, one the Japs, one the Nazis. People don't realize how freaking easy they have it. So when people complain to me, this is getting into my mindset, right? When people complain to me about clicking a few buttons, about posting a link, about feeling awkward writing a post on Facebook or Instagram, I have no sympathy because
All right, I've got one last question for you. Final question. Dun dun dun. Who wants to be a millionaire? So with the affiliate marketing space, you are marketing other people's products. Is there ever a point where you feel responsible for the product that you are marketing? Like, do you do any analysis of the product that, let me backtrack. If a product comes out and maybe there's a lot of bad reviews, do you ever feel responsible that you marketed that product to an audience?
I mean, what is this that Brian Rose said from London Real? Caveat emptor or something like
Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware.
Yeah, caveat. You know what? I when you're an affiliate, you're a salesperson, and no matter what you are in life, you're going to be selling somebody else's product until you have enough money to create your own or experience. You're going to be selling somebody else's. If you're working for AT&T, you're going to sell shoddy. See, I didn't use the bad word. You're going to sell shoddy cable service, or you're going to sell. You're working for a drywall company, and you're going to sell drywall at prices you may think are just extraordinary because you know the actual costs. If you work at a marketing agency, you're going to say, why are we marking up our services like 10 times? These guys are in India doing the work for like $1 an hour. So no matter what, a lot of people know that, they don't like the jobs they're working. They think they're selling, but they work the job because, they know that Jamba Juice is filled with sugar. It's just the reason people love it is because it's just pure sugar. And this
would make me really struggle as an affiliate marketer. So I critiqued Wesley Virgin, who had, I think at one point, like the #1 ClickBank product, this weight loss.
Oh yeah.
Fat
now he's
diminisher.
the #1 Digistore product. Yeah. He's
I am so against that product. Like when I read through it, I found some copy online. I can't tell you how into it. I read it. Yeah. I can't tell you how angry I was reading that product. I thought it was.
Did you do a review on it?
On Wesley Virgin, I did an Authentic or Charlatan episode.
Okay.
And it really hurt. I used to be a personal trainer. I was interested in weight loss and all that stuff. Like it really frustrated me that people read that product and, people are buying this product. And it would struggle for me internally if I was marketing that product, knowing that people were reading it. So that's where the question comes from.
And I think people struggle internally with working jobs too. And I think one of the reasons why people are more comfortable working a job than working for themselves is because it's easier to, there's a cognitive dissonance, which is like, well, I'm just working a job. I'm not responsible for how, effed up, whatever Comcast is with their customer service, or like how many fees, Wells Fargo, right? Horrible company, right? Charges tons of fees, just was emptying people's bank accounts. And a lot of people work there, but they probably don't, they're like,
they pay the bills. The check keeps coming every other week.
Right? Yeah. There's a cognitive dissonance there, but it's harder to do that when you're an entrepreneur. It's harder to do that. And even to do that, right, you have to say, okay, I'm selling West Virgin's product because it's the best, it's just that my job is to make money, and then I'm going to create my own product that's better. Or I'm going to start a channel and, like out these guys as or whatever it is. But like, I think people have to think, so that's difficult. I think that's very difficult. It's harder to disassociate and own it. And when you work for yourself, you have to own your successes. You have to own your failures. And that's why these sissies who work for companies, they say, oh, I don't have to own the failures, right? It's much easier to not have any blame for anything. Nobody wants any blame. Don't judge me. Don't blame me. Don't judge me. Everybody's concerned about being judged these days. You can't judge me for what gender I don't know. It's just, don't get me started.
Clearly you can go on some rants.
Love you guys. Should I go on rants on my YouTube channel?
When the more polarizing you are, the easier it is, the more followers you get.
What do you, serious question though, how would I do it? Because do I just go off on people and like negative mindset, like sissies, like grandparents? I don't know, because sometimes I feel like that, but I just, Maybe that's my Monday rant. Maybe that's my Monday motivation is Monday motivation turns into like rants.
There's a gentleman in Scotland. Just mimic everything he does. Just call people CUNTs and.
Oh.
No, you know what would be great is like, I don't know, if you could somehow get someone on a live stream that's commenting on your videos that's like, John, I'm struggling with affiliate marketing. You get them on and just level them.
Oh my God.
Listen, you little punk, you know.
Some of them like it. They like it.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're getting into weird sexual fantasies. Okay. All right, I think we covered everything. We're way past how long you had planned for. You're trying to build $1 billion company, man.
We'll see. Yeah, it's
that's very ambitious.
I believe affiliate marketing is the next Amazon. I believe the next big e-commerce company is not going to be. It's not going to be this like single centralized site. It's going to be like affiliate marketing. Maybe there's multiple layers of referrals or something. It's going to be person to person. It's going to be distributed commerce. And instead of one guy making $1 trillion, it's going to be a lot more people making, in control of it's just going to be a distributed commerce. I believe the affiliate marketing infrastructure has so far to go. Everything could be tracked and attributed and everything. But it's not there. It's not it doesn't defy any laws of physics. There's nothing physically impossible about it. It's hard to get voice recognition and at all cross device tracking, but it's not impossible. It doesn't break any laws of physics. I believe the technology needs to improve dramatically. I believe the adoption of affiliate marketing needs to be everybody. Everybody in the world should be an affiliate for something. There are products people talk about, movies, TVs, whatever. Everybody should be an affiliate for something.
Well, isn't the most powerful marketing tool is word of mouth? Right?
That's what freaking affiliate marketing is at its core.
So if I recommend a movie to you, I should get a cut.
So I'm all in on helping make this a reality. Maybe I'm chasing the wrong one. I don't know. Maybe I'm chasing a false. But you know what? In my view, I have probably, I'm old. I'm at 32. I really only think I have one, really, I think I've maybe two shot, I've this and maybe one more shot at having a big impact in the world. And I'm going to play this, I believe in this. I'm going to play it out. I'm going to see how far, but I believe it's.
I am glad you're branching out. The info products and affiliate marketing is, in my opinion, a little short term. Like if you want to build a big business, that's more short term.
I believe all education should have software components. If you're not seeking to automate anything, because I'm teaching people register, really what I'm teaching, register a website, build a landing page, post an ad. That's it. And all we're doing now is we have our own hosting company and we're building, our software. It really just does that. It uses ad controls like swipes, the landing page, the ad, it posts them on all the things. It takes like six clicks, literally 6 clicks. And one of those clicks is you enter in your ClickBank or Digistore ID. So you enter in your affiliate ID and then 6 clicks and you have a website, landing pages, and you have ads on the different ad networks. So we're trying to make it easier and more accessible. We're not trying to guarantee people money. Our whole company is make affiliate marketing easier and more accessible. And
I think there was an acronym. Hold on, make affiliate marketing. Yeah, MEE.
No. So our software is actually called Cash. Crestani Automated Affiliate Site Syndication Haplotic. Cash, for sure.
Catchy.
Yeah. So but yeah, that's where we're going. And we'll see. I don't know. Right. I just follow it.
That's good. All right. Maybe you persuaded some of my audience to come on your side. We'll see.
You know what?
I know your self-esteem is really tied to my audience.
Stop! You're hurting me. I'm gonna get sad. But I'm totally down to do an ad review sometime.
I'll let you. whenever you get a chance, I'll kind of show you the one I'm releasing it on like the 4th, and you can kind of see the setup. I think it'd be great. It'd be actually be really valuable to kind of pick your mind for anyone to watch.
I know marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Cool, man.
It's your bread and butter. Cool. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.